Good. Good evening, everyone. My name is Odell Horn. I am the president of the North Georgia Conference United Methodist Men, and I want to welcome you once again in our conversation with Garry Ingraham, who is the executive director of Transforming Congregations. Garry met with us first in the month of November, and we talked about sexuality in the church.
hmm
And then in the month of December, he returned and talked to us about healing from sexual trauma. And Garry will close this series for us, dealing with the title "Such Were Some of You," which is based on First Corinthians chapter 6, verses 9 through 11. Garry, welcome again.
Thanks so much, Odell. Great to be here.
Let me ask, for those people who may not have watched the previous videos, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about the work of Transforming Congregations.
Sure. So I was asked to take over the directorship of Transforming Congregations about 4 years ago or so. And my predecessor, Karen Booth, had been directing Transforming Congregations for probably about 13 years. And she's now retired, UMC pastor. And it was just time for her to kind of hand off the reins. And because I come out of a background of both growing up in the church, not the United Methodist Church, another denomination, and then but didn't have answers, didn't have any way of that I knew of resolving a lot of the conflicts I was experiencing internally, the sexual struggles that I was experiencing, the identity confusion I was experiencing. I eventually left Bible college and found my first gay bar and felt like I'd finally found my people at the age of 19 years old. And so that was a very powerful experience for me. It felt like in the beginning, it felt like a huge relief to stop, quote unquote, denying who I was. But after a while, a couple of years maybe, even I'd say in some ways before then, there was a sense of an erosion. There was a sense of, I don't know how else to describe it, but just a sense that I wasn't living what I was created to live, and that there was a lot of internal conflict going on inside of me, even though I felt like, hey, I'm attracted to men exclusively. I'm not bisexual, and so therefore, if I have no hopes of ever being with or wanting to be with a woman and having my own family, then this is sort of the next best thing, or this is how I'm wired. But God just began to, over time, just lovingly, gently, graciously, which are not ways I would have described him prior in my growing up years, but began just unraveling my confusion and began to really reveal who he truly was and is to me. And it was transformational over time. I mean, and so eventually I left that identity behind. I began to pursue God and look for help through the church still, and found a church that was incredibly transformational in my process. And I've been to lots of churches, good churches, well-intentioned churches, doing a lot of good things, but most didn't have a clue of what to do in the sexual arena, let alone the LGBT arena, or the same-sex attraction or identity confusion. And this one didn't exactly know what to do with me, but they believed in the power of God to transform lives, and God met me in that place. And over the course of a couple of years, really began just setting me more and more free. And then I wound up being hired by that church, everyone knowing my story, being hired by that church and working there for 12 years, and then starting another ministry that I founded, my wife and I, called Love and Truth Network. And so I oversee both of those ministries. Love and Truth Network is to the broader church, and Transforming Congregations is specific to the United Methodist Church, and then any new denomination that might, Orthodox denomination that might also develop out of that too.
Thank you, Garry, for sharing your testimony. What we're going to do right now is we're going to take a break. And when we come back, Garry, I want to ask you more specifically to delve into the ministry of Transforming Congregations
Right.
and the partner organization that you and your wife have developed called Love and Truth Network. And we'll do that on the other side of this break.